Hello everyone and welcome back to Ruby Tarot. Thank you so much for always following and supporting this channel. The moment you come across this video is exactly the right time for you to receive the message it holds. Here on this channel, I always bring you insights and guidance about what is coming into your life. When you open your heart and place your trust in the positive, you are also aligning yourself with a parallel reality, one where your wishes have already come true. Through each reading, I hope to help you uncover the potential paths that lie ahead, empowering you on your journey to love and to the fulfillment of your deepest desires. The theme of today's reading is the message the universe wants you to receive at this very moment. Let's dive in together and uncover what the cards want to tell you right now. For this session, I have drawn 3 cards corresponding to Pile 1, Pile 2, and Pile 3. Take a deep breath, center yourself, and listen to your intuition. Choose the card you feel most drawn to. Let your inner guidance lead the way. Once you've made your choice, you can click on the timestamp in the video description to jump straight to your reading. Now, let's begin the session with those of you who have already made your selection. Hello to those of you who chose Pile 1. Thank you for your patience. Now, let's begin your reading. I hope that this message will offer you healing, bring you new insights, and fill your heart with warmth and love. Today, I didn't set a specific topic for this reading. Instead, I chose to let the cards speak freely and ask them directly. Is there a message that wants to reach you right now? And this is how the cards responded. They reveal that very soon, a beautiful and deeply aligned connection is going to enter your life. This is not just any encounter. It's a meaningful opportunity for connection that is approaching you like a reward, a blessing from the universe in recognition of everything you've been through. It's as if life has seen your efforts, your endurance, and the way you've kept going despite the pain, and now it's gently guiding something or someone precious into your path. Now, let me take a moment to tune into your current energy. What I'm sensing is that you may have recently gone through something that deeply affected your sense of trust. It could be that someone you once relied on, someone you gave your heart or confidence to, betrayed that trust. Or perhaps you experienced a breakup, a falling out, or some kind of ending in a relationship or situation that held great importance for you. There's also a feeling that this ending may have involved not just a person, but also a place, a space you once considered safe, a comforting environment where you felt like you belonged. And then something changed. Something shifted. That space may have been disrupted, or you may have been forced to leave it entirely. Whatever it was, it left a mark, a void, a quiet ache where certainty used to be. This energy still lingers around you, like the remnants of a storm that has passed but hasn't yet fully cleared. But the message here is powerful. Despite this loss, or perhaps because of it, a new beginning is on its way to you. One that holds love, alignment, and the potential for something lasting and real. The things you once cherished, whether it was a person, a place, a way of life, or even a vision of the future you believed would be beautiful, may have turned out differently from what you had hoped. Something may have happened that made you realize that what you once longed for, or held close to your heart, was not truly meant for you. And that realization, that disillusionment, may have left you deeply wounded. Whether this experience took place recently, or it happened some time ago, it seems the imprint of it still lingers within you. It's like a quiet ache that hasn't fully subsided, a painful memory that hasn't faded, and for some of you, it may have become a haunting presence, especially if it involved betrayal. On the outside, perhaps you've managed to keep moving forward, appearing composed and even healed. But on the inside, there may still be a residue of sorrow, a sense of unease, or unresolved emotions that you haven't been able to fully release. However, the cards are showing something deeply comforting. All of those emotions, the sadness, the pain, the words left unspoken, will soon begin to dissolve naturally from your heart. You don't need to force yourself to forget, and you don't need to rush the healing. This release will come in its own time and in the most gentle, fitting way for you. Just like petals falling quietly when the season turns, these emotions will gradually drift away, making space within you for something more beautiful, something more aligned, to enter. The energy is shifting, and what lies ahead carries the promise of peace, clarity, and emotional renewal. Because a beautiful and completely worthy connection is making its way toward you, this is the message the cards are sending you now. The energy of the future, as reflected in the cards, is consistent and clear. A harmonious, meaningful connection is already on its way to you. This connection may come in the form of a person, perhaps a soulmate, a kindred spirit, or someone who feels like a destined encounter. but it is not limited to romantic or personal relationships alone. It could manifest as any significant bond or opportunity that brings genuine value into your life, a new career path, a financial breakthrough, a deeply fulfilling friendship, or even an experience that changes your life perspective in the most uplifting way. At this moment, you may not yet know exactly what shape it will take, but what's certain is that it will be something that brings you joy, expansion, and a sense of rightness. If we were to use a dice as a metaphor, imagine that the number 6 represents the highest blessing, and you've just rolled a die where all 6 sides are sixes. No matter how it lands, it will bring you something wonderful. There is no losing outcome in this role. You're in a moment where the universe is aligning to deliver something of deep value to you. Whether it turns out to be a soulmate, a new job, a financial opportunity, or a soul-level friendship, the very first thing that arrives will be one of the most fortunate gifts you've received in a long time. And along with it comes a new beginning, one that is filled with love, gentleness, and healing energy. It will be a transition marked not by chaos or disruption, but by warmth, softness, and a sense of peace settling into your life. The cards are signaling that this kind of beginning is already waiting for you just up ahead, quietly preparing to unfold. The next card that appeared is also an incredibly positive one. It speaks of soul-aligned connections, meaningful encounters, and magical bonds beginning to gather around you. The most vivid image it conveys is this. Imagine countless red threads of destiny, all being drawn toward you simultaneously from every direction. These threads symbolize the deep, predestined connections that are now moving into your orbit, not by chance, but as part of a greater orchestration. The butterflies that appear in this card also hold symbolic meaning. They represent beautiful opportunities, serendipitous meetings, and the gentle flutter of transformation and renewal surrounding you. It's as if you are blindfolded, standing in the middle of a space filled with glowing possibilities, and no matter which one you reach out and choose, it will be something wonderful. These connections, these people, opportunities, and blessings are not random occurrences. They are being guided to you, sent with love and urgency by higher vibrational beings, spiritual guardians, and soul guides who are working to align you with what is truly meant for your heart and your journey. They are gathering the threads, bringing them closer, weaving them into the tapestry of your life, and very soon, you will begin to see the beauty of what is coming together. Why the urgency? Because these benevolent forces, these higher beings guiding your path, can sense how weary your heart has become. Even though the cards today carry a gentle and loving energy, filled with tenderness, grace, and warmth, there is a subtle expression in the eyes of the figure depicted, something quiet, almost hidden, as if holding back tears. There's a trace of doubt, a flicker of caution, a moment of hesitation. It suggests that perhaps you still carry a certain wariness, an inner resistance to fully trusting again. Or maybe there's a part of you that you continue to hide, a vulnerable place within that you're still trying to protect. Because of these subtle signs, this lingering hesitation, this unspoken pain, the red threads of destiny, those beautiful connections meant for you, are being brought to you with a certain haste. It is not a rushed energy, but an intentional one. The universe is working swiftly, compassionately, to offer you what you need most at this time. Love that is kind, connections that are sincere, energies that feel like balm to your soul. This urgency is a response to your quiet ache, a divine effort to restore what has been lost or dimmed within you. In the days to come, you may find yourself gradually surrounded by people, experiences, and moments that feel unusually tender and safe. The healing won't come as a dramatic shift, but rather as a slow unfolding, like a soft blanket being wrapped around your spirit. You will begin to feel held, seen, and gently reminded that despite the pain you've endured, life still has beauty to offer, and you are still deeply worthy of love in its most honest and compassionate form. There is something incredibly gentle, yet tinged with quiet melancholy in those eyes, a kind of expression that seems to be holding sorrow deep within. Typically, this character appears with a sweet, radiant face, full of charm and lightness that makes others feel warm just by looking. But this time, that same face carries a softness touched by sadness, like a piece of crispy fried chicken that's tender and vulnerable inside. It's not the kind of open, sobbing sadness, like a little puppy crying with a loud woof, but rather a sorrow that's carefully tucked away, not shown outwardly, yet undeniably present. It feels as though, deep within your heart, there are tears being held back. They don't surface, but they exist. They live in the quiet moments, in the spaces between your thoughts, in the pauses where your breath catches just slightly. And the beings of higher realms, your spirit guides, guardians, or simply the gentle pulse of the universe itself, seem to be sensing this with absolute clarity. They've picked up on the delicacy within you, the subtle waves of emptiness, the quiet emotional imbalance you may not have even spoken aloud. And because of this, they are hurrying, truly, they are rushing in their own way, to weave together the threads of meaningful connections, to bring you something that will help you smile again. It's as if they've felt it in your energy, that you're sad, that your heart feels hollow in places, that something warm has been missing for too long. And they can't bear to leave you in that state. There's a loving urgency now to bring forth a gift, an opportunity, a connection that will light up your spirit again. Something is being prepared behind the scenes, with great care and speed, because you are loved, you are seen, and you are not meant to remain in this silent sorrow. What's coming is not just a remedy, it's a gentle joy, sent with intention, to help your heart remember how to feel full again. Because of this, an abundance of positive energy and beautiful opportunities is being drawn to you and gently guided into your orbit at this very moment. Everything seems to be converging, gathering around you, not by coincidence, but through the love and protection being extended to you by higher vibrational forces. It is their way of wrapping you in support, of making sure that something good is always on its way to you, especially now. So if you've been feeling like you're the one going through a loss, perhaps a separation, the departure of something or someone important, or the disappearance of a space that once felt like your sanctuary, then yes, the universe has noticed. You are being seen in your pain, in your quiet longing, in that ache that you've perhaps struggled to put into words. And you are not alone. The blessings, the meaningful connections, the good things, they are being fast-tracked to you as we speak, sent from the unseen realms with a kind of divine urgency, as if to say, we're here, and we're sending help. For example, very recently, perhaps even just this April, you may have started something new. Maybe you found a job, began working in a new environment, or opened the door to a fresh chapter in your life. At the beginning, there may have been hope, excitement, a sense of anticipation. But before long, reality began to reveal itself, and it didn't quite match what you had imagined. You may have already left the job, or you're thinking about leaving. Maybe you're feeling drained, disillusioned, or simply tired to the point of wanting to let it all go. That sense of disappointment, of something not turning out the way you'd wished, it's valid, and it has been noticed. But know this, nothing has gone unnoticed by the energies that walk beside you. The universe is aware that your heart has recently been tested again, and because of that, new paths, new connections, and new light are being sent your way, to renew your spirit and bring you back to alignment with what truly serves your joy. If you find yourself in that place, where meetings are followed by goodbyes, where trust once given has turned into disappointment, where the relationships you once had high hopes for have instead left you with pain, then the message the cards are sending you is this: better things are on their way, being naturally guided into your life. Not through force, not through a pressure to heal quickly or pretend you're fine, but in a gentle way, like a stream of cool, soothing water flowing past, carrying with it the fatigue, the hurt, and the sorrow you've been holding on to. There is no need to scrub the pain away with effort. You don't need to push yourself to move on. Instead, it's the arrival of new energies, new connections, and meaningful bonds that will gently help you let go, so your heart can soften again, so it can rest and begin to heal with grace. The Goblin card made its appearance in this reading, and interestingly enough, it has been showing up quite often lately. For some of you, this may not be the first time you've seen it. You might even be thinking, this goblin again, and there's a reason for that. Because this card often points to someone in your surrounding environment, a person who, either intentionally or unconsciously, has hurt you. Someone who stirred up negative emotions within you, someone whose actions or words left behind wounds in your heart. And yet, the frequent appearance of this card isn't meant to haunt or discourage you. On the contrary, it's here to help you see the pattern, to bring your awareness to a cycle that might still be affecting you, so that you can begin to release it. It's not about holding on to blame, nor about staying stuck in the past, but about recognizing what has been draining you and gently stepping away from it so you can make space for what is truly aligned with your growth and your happiness. There is something deeply healing in simply acknowledging pain, not hiding it, not rushing to fix it, but seeing it clearly, naming it, and then letting life slowly bring you the people, places, and experiences that will remind you how love is supposed to feel: safe, kind, and true. However, for some of you, when you see this card, you might feel something like, that's exactly how I feel right now, and if that resonates with you, please don't be too hard on yourself. The Goblin card doesn't mean that you're the goblin. It means that you may be inhabiting a state that isn't your usual self. You're hurt, you're in a sensitive space, more reactive, more easily pulled toward negative thoughts, and that is completely natural after all that you've been through. In truth, your real essence, as earlier cards have already shown, is warm, kind, gentle, and deeply compassionate. So, if lately you've noticed yourself becoming more irritable, or if thoughts have crept in like, why do things always end badly for me? Or, I'm worthless, I hate myself, please remember, that is not the real you. That is a version of you that is temporarily wounded, a self that is currently out of sync with who you truly are at your core. There's nothing wrong with that. You're human. You've experienced pain, perhaps repeatedly, and your current emotional state is simply your inner self asking to be seen, held, and soothed. It's not a flaw, it's a signal, a call for gentleness, for nurturing, and above all, for self-compassion. Your true self is still there, patiently waiting behind those layers of pain, not broken, just momentarily shadowed. And as healing energies begin to flow back into your life, you will remember who you are, someone radiant, tender-hearted, and beautifully capable of love and light. You're not wrong at all. You're just feeling sad. And something better is already on its way to you, to gently guide you back to your true self, the one who has always been worthy of love and appreciation. Your true self is incredibly lovable, sincere, and naturally radiant, and this shines through so clearly in the expression on this card. Even if you're not particularly skilled at communication, or you sometimes struggle to express yourself smoothly, there's a quiet charm about you, a kind of warmth and gentle magnetism that draws people in and makes it hard for them to look away. That kind of charm isn't something that can be faked or performed. It comes from within, from the unique energy and essence that you carry effortlessly. Because of this, when I look at you from the perspective of someone observing from the outside, if you're currently feeling like you've become someone else entirely, perhaps withdrawn, sorrowful, or even blaming yourself, then I can't help but feel a deep sense of indignation on your behalf. Truly, if I could, I would ask you to bring that person here, so I could look them in the eye and demand an explanation. Because no one, absolutely no one, has the right to wound a soul as precious as yours to the point where you begin to lose sight of your gentle, loving nature. Unforgivable. That is the feeling that rises in me when I witness this, especially when the cards that appear are all so tender, so beautiful. Among them is the Child card, a symbol of parent-child relationships, or other bonds marked by intimacy and trust, such as between superior and subordinate, teacher and student, close friends, or lovers. This card speaks of a relationship in which you once placed your wholehearted trust, a connection you regarded as a safe haven, perhaps even as a space where you truly belonged. But now, it seems very likely that you've experienced a parting, a rupture in one of these deeply significant relationships. And what you're feeling now may be akin to losing your place, your footing, that role, that position where you once felt secure, seen, and acknowledged. It's as if something that once grounded you, something you leaned on, has quietly vanished, and in its place is a painful emptiness that no words can truly describe. Yet the cards give me no sense that you were the one who broke this bond, no indication that you were the cause of this unraveling. On the contrary, I feel with immense clarity that you are the one who has been hurt, the one carrying wounds that were never of your making. You were the one cast out, pushed away from a space that had once felt like home, a place you believed in, trusted with the softest parts of your heart. And it is that betrayal of safety, that erosion of a place where you thought you were cherished, that is the true pain at the core of all this. The sweetness, sincerity, and childlike clarity within you have always been there, unwavering and true. And you are worthy of better things. Relationships that heal rather than harm, connections that allow you to be fully yourself without hesitation, without the need to shrink or second-guess who you are. But you know what? Everything is going to be all right. You truly can let go. And that is the message the cards are gently trying to send you now, like a quiet whisper reaching into your heart, reminding you of your own strength and readiness to move forward. Take this for example. Perhaps in the past, you deeply cherished a certain environment or a particular person. Maybe it was a close friend, a romantic partner, or even the life you built in marriage, or any space that once felt like home. You believed, with your whole being, that this was where you belonged. You looked at that place, or that person, and felt peace, felt that soft certainty that this was your sanctuary. But if it turned out that the person you trusted betrayed that faith, If the things you once believed in proved to be different than what you had imagined, and you were suddenly forced to face a harsh and unexpected truth, then even so, the cards are saying to you now, it's okay. Truly, it's okay. Because you are ready to fly. You are no longer the version of yourself who needs to stay where love is conditional or where your light is dimmed. You've outgrown the space that once seemed like everything, and now you are ready to spread your wings, to seek a higher sky. One where your softness is not a weakness, but a gift. Looking at the butterflies that appear on the card, they are a reflection of you, fully grown, having absorbed all that you needed from that old environment. Just like a chrysalis, which silently gathers strength and nourishment while enclosed in its cocoon, only to one day emerge and transform into a butterfly, ready to fly. You too have been through that sacred process. Every lesson, every experience, every moment of pain, as well as every ounce of love and tenderness from the past, all of it has become the nourishment that helped you grow into who you are now. And at this point, you no longer need to remain where you once were. Your departure from a relationship or a familiar environment isn't because you were cast out or because you failed to hold on to it. It's because your purpose there has been fulfilled. From a spiritual perspective, your heart may still be clinging to what once was, still aching, still feeling attached, still grieving what was lost. But on the level of the soul, your journey in that chapter is complete. You have learned all there was to learn, received everything you needed to receive, and now it is time to move on to something new. You have evolved. You've ascended to a new stage. The things that once hurt you deeply are now forming the solid foundation from which you will rise, steadier, more grounded, and stronger than ever. And as you spread your wings and leave that space behind, a new space will open before you. Because you have raised your frequency, because your sense of self-worth has expanded, what comes next will be a match for the version of you that you've become. It will reflect your growth, your transformation, and the beautiful, refined energy you now carry. This card is revealing the presence of an entirely new beginning, not just a minor shift, but a profound transformation, a true rebirth. A new world, new people, a renewed version of yourself. All of it is waiting just ahead. It's not simply about moving forward. It's about stepping into a life that resonates with who you've become at your core. For instance, if in the past you were in relationships where you constantly had to endure, to hold yourself back, to bear with emotional weight in silence, then it's through those very experiences that you've gathered invaluable lessons. You've cultivated wisdom, patience, and resilience. And now you, the one who has consciously chosen to step out of that cocoon, not because anyone forced you to, but because your soul was ready. You are the butterfly. You've grown. You've completed that sacred phase of inner preparation, and now you are ready to soar into a new sky. From this moment on, you no longer need to harden yourself or stay in relationships out of obligation or fear of being alone. You no longer have to shrink to fit into spaces that cannot hold your fullness. Instead, you are free to love in a way that feels natural, unburdened, unrestrained, flowing in rhythm with the quiet truth of your own heart. What awaits you is a love that does not bind you, does not ask you to give up your freedom in exchange for affection. This love will lift you higher, will grow alongside you, will expand the very space around you so that you may become even more of who you are meant to be. And the same transformation is reflected in your work life. If in the past you had to suppress your true self, conform to rigid expectations, constantly bear the weight of heavy responsibilities, and stretch yourself thin just to meet the demands or please others, then now, you are being guided toward a new environment, one where your voice will be heard and respected, where your ideas will matter, where you'll be trusted and empowered to take initiative. And from that space of authenticity and recognition, you will rise. You will thrive. You will grow without limitation. The message is coming through with remarkable clarity. As mentioned earlier, the card you received is one that represents the soulmate, the kindred spirit. And not just this card alone, but several cards within this reading carry the exact same vibration. 3 different cards, yet all echoing the same core message. It's truly a rare occurrence, a meaningful synchronicity that should not be overlooked.
So, what does it mean?
It means that beautiful things are making their way toward you. Precious gifts, whether in the form of heartfelt connections, soul-aligned relationships, or perhaps even material abundance, are approaching. This card is also known as the card of wealth, and wealth here doesn't only refer to money, but to the richness of life in all its dimensions. It could mean emotional fulfillment, loyal companions, a deep sense of belonging, or prosperity in your career. Whatever form it takes, it will be something that aligns with the real you, the version of you that has emerged after all the lessons, all the growth, all the silent endurance. The universe is now responding to your evolution, matching your frequency, and sending you what you are truly ready to receive. But the abundance indicated here is not limited to money. It speaks of something far more precious. It could be a sincere friendship that brings warmth to your soul, a destined connection that allows you to be fully and effortlessly yourself, or a career path that fills you with pride and genuine joy each day. And yes, just as the image in the card suggests, it may very well be a large sum of money or a meaningful financial opportunity drawing closer to you. All of these things are aligning themselves with your path, heading toward you, who have already learned so much, who have grown through your trials, and who are now ready to receive all that is good. So, what is coming toward you now? Do not be anxious. No matter how life may twist and turn, goodness is still on its way. A future filled with positivity, like a cascade of joyful moments and strokes of luck, is truly approaching you. And for that reason, you'll be able to release what no longer serves you, gently and naturally, without force. If, at this moment, there is still someone in your heart who feels unforgivable, someone who wounded you deeply, then no matter what their karma may be, what matters most is your happiness. Because there is no greater triumph than for you to live a life that is genuinely joyful, peaceful, and content. That is the highest form of victory. It is not about proving anything to anyone, not about justice meted out by the universe on your behalf. It's about you being able to smile again, to wake up feeling light, to go to sleep with peace in your heart. That is your liberation. That is your power. And that is the reward that is already on its way to you. The card of letting go has also appeared here, as a gentle affirmation that the time will come when even if you recall the past, it will no longer hurt the way it does now. The memories may still surface from time to time, but the sharp ache, the deep sting you feel today, that pain will dissolve. Truly it will. It may seem far off in this moment, but healing has already begun its quiet work within you. And if, just if, you feel that you were in some way a part of what caused that relationship to fall apart, if you believe that something you did or said may have contributed to the rupture or made the situation worse, then even those regrets, those moments of self-blame and guilt, will one day be fully digested by your heart. There will come a time when you'll be able to smile again and to say to yourself, with complete honesty, I am truly happy now. Even if you once said something that hurt them, even if you once acted out of pain or fear, what truly matters now is the energy you carry in your heart. If, deep inside, you genuinely wish them peace and happiness, that energy will reach them, even without words, even in silence. Sincerity does not need language to be felt. It travels in quiet waves, through time and space, through the unseen threads that once connected you both. And this, too, is part of your healing. It is a sign that your soul is growing, softening, becoming more luminous. What was once heavy is becoming light. What was once pain is becoming understanding. And that is how you will know, not only that you have let go, but that you have set yourself free. And though this group of people may be a minority, the majority of you who are listening to this reading are likely those who have been hurt, who have endured hardship, who have been pushed into a place of deep emotional exhaustion. Because the card of the whip has made its appearance, a card that represents heartache, inner wounds, and the kind of emotional scars that do not fade easily or quickly. Regardless of who is right or wrong, who hurt whom, from a soul-level perspective, you have already absorbed everything your spirit needed to learn from this experience. You have completed the lesson that was meant for you. You have received all the insight and emotional depth that your soul required in order to grow. And now, the time has come for something better, something higher, something softer, something warmer to enter your life. That place, the role you played there, the connection you held there, it has reached its natural conclusion. Hearing that might sting, especially when your heart is still raw, still aching with all that it had hoped for and believed in. If it were me, I too would find myself thinking, but I loved that place so deeply, or how could it possibly be over just like that? Those thoughts, those feelings, they are real, and they are entirely valid. To let go of a place or a person you loved so much is never easy, especially when you've given it your whole heart. It's natural to grieve the end of something you cherished, and it's okay if that grief still lingers within you. You're human, and your emotions deserve space to breathe and unfold. But even so, the cards speak clearly. That chapter has fulfilled its purpose in your story. And as difficult as it is to hear that, it also means that you are now free to turn the page. You are being prepared for a new beginning, one that holds the promise of deeper peace, more genuine joy, and a gentler rhythm for your soul to walk in. Let that truth settle softly into your heart, not as an abrupt ending, but as a quiet permission to move forward, with love and with grace. And yet, the cards here are revealing a glimpse into a part of your future, a future that is truly radiant and full of hope. And for that reason, the message is being delivered with such warmth and tenderness, as though it were spoken from the heart of a loving parent. There is a gentle, comforting presence here, as if someone dear is concerned for your well-being, holding you close in their thoughts. This particular card often appears when there is a connection with ancestors, higher spirits who are watching over you from another realm. At this very moment, they are focusing their energy on you with great intensity, almost as if to say, "We must hurry. We must bring joy to our child without delay." There is a sense of urgency in their care, a passionate, almost impatient desire to support you and guide you forward. They are reaching out with such heartfelt intention, eager to remind you of the light that still awaits. And so, the message that arises from this reading is clear. You are not at an ending. This is not a conclusion. Nothing is truly over, and there is certainly not nothing left. Quite the opposite. Every card here affirms this is a new beginning. You are standing right at the threshold of a new doorway, one that is just about to open before you. And what lies beyond is a journey rich with meaning, alive with promise, and filled with all the wonders you may not yet have imagined. And the most wonderful thing of all, you are not alone. A vast flow of positive energy is being drawn toward you. Countless new connections and opportunities are being guided your way by higher energies and benevolent spirits. Everything is converging, all moving in your direction with purpose and harmony. Because of that, there is no need for you to strain or push yourself too hard. Simply open your heart and receive these blessings with a sense of peace and ease. Let your soul relax into the knowing that you are being supported. If these words resonate with you, then please allow yourself to be open and welcome the message the universe is sending your way today. This brings us to the end of the reading for those of you who chose Pile 1. If you enjoyed this content, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and show your support by giving the video a like. Your encouragement is a powerful source of motivation that inspires me to continue creating more meaningful content for you. If something in this reading stirred your heart or felt deeply aligned with your soul, I'd love it if you could leave a comment or even just a small symbol to let me know the message has reached you. I always look forward to reading your thoughts and reflections, so don't hesitate to share what's on your mind. Thank you for staying with me until the end of the video. I'll see you again in the next reading. Hello to everyone who chose Pile 2. Thank you for waiting. Now, I will begin the reading for those of you drawn to the second pile. I truly hope this reading brings you healing, new awareness, and moments filled with love and warmth. Today, I intentionally did not assign any specific topic to this reading. Instead, I allowed the cards themselves to speak directly to you, to reveal whatever message they might wish to convey. I approached the reading with that open energy, and as it unfolded, a rather unique and somewhat unusual message emerged. Because of its distinct nature, I have a sense that what came through is something truly important. The message that the cards seem to be expressing is something along these lines. Dear one, you can allow yourself to dream bigger. You can reach further. Or perhaps, it's time to remember the ambitions you once held, to reconnect with that spark, the very feeling that first ignited your journey. This reading is like a gentle whisper from the universe, nudging you to return to your origin point, to recall your initial passion and the inspiration that once set everything in motion. It's a reminder not only of where you started, but also of why you started. That sense of purpose, that flame of desire that once felt so alive in you, it still exists. It might have been buried under responsibilities, doubts, or the passage of time, but it is still there, quietly waiting for you to notice it again. The cards are encouraging you to look back not in regret, but in remembrance, to rediscover the driving force that once moved your heart so strongly. You are being reminded that your original vision is still valid, still worthy of pursuit. Perhaps now is the perfect moment to breathe new life into it, or to expand upon it with the wisdom you've gained since. This message invites you to honor your past dreams, not as something that has been lost, but as something that is ready to evolve with you into the next stage of your path. The first card that appeared belongs to the earth element. And for you, the one who felt drawn to this particular pile, I sense that you may be feeling very tired at the moment. The keyword here, exhaustion, seems to resonate with quite a few of you tuning into this reading. However, in most cases, the feeling of tiredness that comes through isn't necessarily physical. It feels far more like a weariness of the spirit, a kind of emotional or mental fatigue. This card strongly emphasizes the deep and intrinsic connection between mental well-being and physical health. That's the core of the message it seems to be offering you. On the card, there is an image of a horse, an archetype that traditionally symbolizes vitality, strength, and untamed energy. The horse itself looks robust, energetic, full of life and stamina. Yet, what this card is really highlighting doesn't appear to be your physical body. Instead, it's pointing inward, toward your inner landscape, your mental and emotional state. That's where the true fatigue lies. You may appear fine on the outside, still managing your responsibilities, still moving forward. But inside, there's a sense of depletion, as though your inner reserves have been stretched thin. This card is not just bringing attention to that inner exhaustion, it's gently asking you to acknowledge it, to not overlook it just because it isn't visible to others. It's reminding you that vitality doesn't come only from physical rest, but from giving your mind and spirit the care and space they need to breathe, recover, and feel renewed. In its own quiet way, the card is encouraging you to check in with yourself.
To pause.
To honor that part of you that may be silently calling out for gentleness, for grounding, for a chance to simply be, without expectation. It's a message of deep compassion, that your inner strength, like the horse's power, is still there, perhaps just waiting for the moment when your spirit is fully restored. It's possible that you've been channeling too much energy into your mind, overthinking, worrying excessively, and as a result, your energy is no longer flowing evenly throughout your body. This card arrives as a gentle reminder to pay close attention to your mental well-being because your emotional and psychological health has a profound influence on your entire life force. So why, then, are you using so much energy in your headspace?
Why are your thoughts working overtime?
The answers begin to emerge, little by little, through the next few cards in the reading. What stands out very clearly here is something deeply connected to ambition, your dreams, your ideals, your sense of purpose. Of course, I believe that you're someone with a naturally strong drive to take action. You're not the type to sit still with a vision or idea for long. When inspiration strikes, you tend to move quickly, instinctively, almost without hesitation. There's a raw, intuitive impulse within you, a natural boldness that allows you to act decisively. Even when things don't go as planned, even in moments of setback or failure, you demonstrate an impressive ability to pivot. You don't crumble. Instead, you're willing to rethink your approach, to return to the very point where things fell apart and begin again from there. In other words, you possess a remarkably resilient inner strength, especially when it comes to working toward what truly matters to you. When you're pursuing something that speaks to your heart, your psychological foundation remains quite solid. You have an admirable sense of self-trust when it comes to navigating your own path. But even so, what this reading reveals is that you may currently be stuck in a loop of overanalyzing or mental overexertion, possibly because you care so deeply about your dreams. You're carrying your ambitions close to your chest, and perhaps the pressure of wanting to succeed, of wanting to move forward the right way, has caused you to become overly caught up in your thoughts. This intensity, though rooted in passion, might be exhausting your spirit. And the cards are asking you, not to stop dreaming or striving, but to let your energy flow more freely again, by nurturing your mind, grounding yourself, and remembering that balance is the foundation from which your aspirations can grow sustainably. But now, there seems to be another factor entering the picture, one that doesn't originate from within you, but rather comes from outside. I sense that this influence may be connected to your family, your living environment, or the people currently present in your life. The cards are subtly pointing toward this external energy. One of the cards that appeared is related to the image of a house. And this doesn't simply represent a physical home, but extends to what the home symbolizes: your family, your workplace, your close-knit circle of friends, the communities or spaces in which you are meant to feel at ease, protected, and fully yourself. These are the places that should feel like your foundation, where your energy can rest and reset, where you are emotionally held. And yet, at this moment, there seems to be something about this home space that doesn't feel entirely secure or stable. Perhaps there is tension, unrest, or a subtle imbalance that's affecting your sense of peace. There is a feeling of unease, like something within that familiar environment is misaligned. It could be emotional distance, unspoken pressure, or even certain dynamics that are no longer supportive in the way they once were. The cards are not suggesting danger, but they are indicating that what should be your safe space is currently failing to nourish you the way it used to, or the way it should. Then came another card, one that depicts a wolf, more specifically, a gathering of wolves. This card brings forward the energy of community, of collective living, of adhering to shared rules, norms, or unspoken codes. Wolves are known to move as a pack. They are loyal to their group, instinctively bonded, and they operate within a clear hierarchy and structure. The presence of this card suggests that you are currently navigating expectations tied to a group dynamic, perhaps trying to maintain harmony, to fit into a role, or to uphold certain standards or traditions set by others. There's a powerful message here about community and belonging. While there is strength in unity and comfort in shared values, this card also prompts a deeper question. Are you still aligned with the energy of the pack you're in? Are the rules and rhythms of this group still resonant with who you are becoming? Or is the need to conform beginning to wear on your spirit, subtly conflicting with your desire for personal truth and freedom? Together, these cards highlight a tension between individuality and connection, between the desire to be seen for who you truly are and the pressure to maintain peace within a collective. The reading gently invites you to reflect on where you feel most at home and whether those spaces still support your growth, or whether they're calling for a gentle reshaping of boundaries and energy. And so, this card seems to be telling you that you are currently living within a certain framework, perhaps the unspoken rules of your family, the expectations of your living environment, or the regulations of a community, and that very framework might be restricting or delaying the path toward your personal dreams and aspirations. You still remember those dreams, you still carry them within you, but perhaps now you're beginning to wonder, am I allowed to pursue them? Would doing so mean going against the unspoken rules of those I love, or the system I'm a part of? What I sense here is that these rules are not necessarily being enforced in any loud or explicit way. No one may be directly telling you what to do or not to do, but rather, they are influencing you in quiet, invisible ways. There may be a strong sense of duty, of needing to fit in, to not disappoint others or disturb the delicate balance of the environment around you. This invisible pressure to conform, to blend in, to uphold a certain role or fulfill particular expectations, these are the things that seem to be weighing on you now. And this tension is likely the source of your exhaustion as you try to maintain balance between your individual self and the collective, between your inner calling and the voices that surround you. What's coming through very clearly in this reading is that you have innate talents, gifts that are fully yours and which you are completely capable of expressing. These are not vague potentialities. They are real abilities that are already within you, waiting to be fully activated. But right now, they feel restrained, as if something is tying them down, preventing them from unfolding to their fullest extent. You may be in a work environment that's limiting your creative freedom, or there could be certain situations playing out in your life that are making it difficult for you to act on the ideas or desires you're holding inside. Perhaps you find yourself thinking things like, I want to try this, or I feel ready to take this further, or I know I could do so much more if I had the space. But when you try to move forward, you encounter resistance, not always direct opposition, but small, persistent barriers that make each step feel heavier than it should be. And so, your dreams sit quietly within you, alive but waiting, as you navigate the delicate balance between honoring your truth and maintaining harmony with your surroundings. This reading is not here to tell you to break away from your community or reject your responsibilities. Rather, it's offering you a moment to reflect on where the lines are being drawn, whether by others or by yourself, and whether there might be more room than you realize to stretch those lines just enough to begin moving toward the life you truly envision. Your dreams are still valid. Your voice still matters. And you deserve the space to grow into who you are becoming. The card continues to gently remind you to reconnect with your ambition. Perhaps there was a time when you felt a deep desire to rise further in your career, to attain a higher position, or simply to earn more money, and none of these aspirations are inherently negative. Wanting more, striving to grow, dreaming of success, these are natural and valid desires. But something seems to be holding you back, tethering you to your current position. And, interestingly, this isn't necessarily a negative force. In fact, it feels intricately tied to the collective, to a team, a group, or a shared environment. It's as if you've chosen, whether consciously or subconsciously, to place the needs of the whole above your personal goals. Within your circle, be it family, colleagues, or close-knit relationships, there may be someone who needs your support right now. Perhaps they're in a more vulnerable position, facing their own challenges, and you've stepped in to help carry some of that weight. And because of your deep sense of empathy and responsibility, you feel that you can't simply walk away or chase after your own desires without considering the impact on those around you. It's not as easy for you to say, I'll just do what I want. Because you're someone who feels deeply, who genuinely cares for others, and because of that, you find yourself pausing, holding back, weighing your choices, and striving to maintain harmony within your relationships and environment. This part of the message carries a great deal of emotional depth. It acknowledges that your restraint isn't rooted in fear or weakness, but in compassion. You are someone with a strong moral compass, someone who doesn't want to advance at the expense of others, especially those who rely on you. And yet, the card quietly asks, what about you? Where do you fit in all this? Can there be a way forward where your dreams and your compassion coexist, rather than compete? The cards aren't urging you to abandon those you care about. Instead, they're inviting you to consider how you might begin weaving your aspirations back into the fabric of your life, even if only gently at first. The message here is not about selfishness, it's about self-honor. You don't have to rush. You don't have to leap. But you are allowed to dream again, and to remember that your path matters just as much as the roles you so lovingly play in the lives of others. And so, what I sense is that you may be laying down your weapons. You're no longer moving forward with the same fierce determination you once had, even though deep down, you are someone entirely capable of achieving great success. The cards are speaking very clearly about this. You are someone who has the potential to thrive in your career, in your relationships, as long as you truly want it and are willing to step toward it with intention and courage. What makes it possible for you to attain what you desire is your remarkable ability to adapt and redirect your path. As I mentioned earlier, you're someone who learns deeply through experience. Even when you encounter failure, you don't stay down. Of course, you may feel sadness, you may go through moments of discouragement, but you have this rare capacity to reflect and ask yourself, so how will I approach it differently next time? That is an incredible kind of mental and emotional strength, one that cannot be taught, only cultivated through genuine growth and self-awareness. You carry within you a powerful inner resilience. With every stumble, you don't lose your will, you gain wisdom. Each fall only makes you stronger, more mature, more insightful. This resilience is the very foundation that will carry you toward the things you truly long for. It's already within you. The ability to rise again and again, not with bitterness, but with greater clarity, is what sets you apart. The universe isn't questioning your potential, it's inviting you to remember it. And it is precisely through this process of learning that you continually refine and upgrade your dream, bit by bit, adjusting it, refreshing your vision of the person you want to become, in a way that is increasingly aligned with who you truly are. For example, perhaps at first you had a dream of becoming a baker, more specifically, of opening your own bakery that sold traditional bread. But after experiencing several setbacks, you didn't just learn from your own failures. You also absorbed valuable lessons from others, both those who had failed before you and those who had succeeded in the same field. You possess a remarkable ability to learn from the people around you. And then, over time, you might realize, maybe instead of a traditional bread bakery, I'd be better suited to opening a sandwich shop. The core of the dream remains the same, something related to baking, but you're able to adapt the form, to reshape the way that dream manifests in the real world. That is an incredibly valuable ability you have. You don't cling rigidly to the original form of your vision. Instead, you are capable of updating, refining, and reinventing your dreams in ways that are clever, thoughtful, and true to their essential purpose. You preserve the heart of your dream while allowing its expression to evolve, something not everyone can do with such grace. You are not someone who easily gives up on your dreams, yet you are also not bound by any fixed form. You have the rare ability to stay true to the spirit of your aspirations while skillfully adjusting the way you pursue them to better fit the reality you're facing. You hold on to the essence of what you love, and at the same time, you remain open to evolving the path that leads you there. For instance, if you once dreamed of becoming a VTuber and are now facing difficulties, maybe you've encountered multiple setbacks, felt discouraged, or even contemplated giving up, you're still the kind of person who would pause and ask yourself, why didn't it work out for me in that role? And from there, you begin to consider other possibilities, fresh directions. Instead of completely walking away, you breathe new life into that dream. You reshape it. Take the current environment as an example, where showing one's face online might involve certain risks. You might begin to think, what if I wear a mask? What if I only film from the neck down? Instead of pursuing VTubing in its traditional sense, you might explore appearing as yourself, but in a more discreet, protected way. Or perhaps you pivot to content like handcrafting videos or ASMR recordings, forms of expression that align with your original dream of creating and connecting, but which also suit your current needs better. This is what makes you so unique, your ability to reimagine your dream while preserving its core. You don't abandon your vision, you evolve it. And in doing so, you keep moving forward with both heart and wisdom. You are someone with the ability to update your dreams, to elevate the way you pursue them. Not a person who gives up or runs away from failure, but rather one who adapts the course with flexibility and wisdom so that your dreams can survive and grow alongside you. At this moment, it seems you are preoccupied with something, perhaps with others, responsibilities, or the circumstances around you, that has caused you to temporarily lay down your weapons, no longer moving forward in alignment with your true desires. However, the cards are delivering a clear message. If you are willing to tend to the shadowy corners of your soul, the emotions you've been suppressing, the fears that haunt you, the doubts that linger, then, gradually, you will begin to see a path forward. A path that allows you to both navigate and resolve the external limitations and obligations that weigh on you, while simultaneously taking meaningful steps toward what your heart truly longs for. You are not being asked to cast aside your reality, nor to deny what is difficult. Instead, you are being invited to care for what lies beneath the surface, to listen more deeply to your inner world, and to understand that the very darkness you may have feared is also the source of great insight and transformation. As you acknowledge and gently work through those inner obstacles, you reclaim your agency. And with it, you can once again begin to shape your life, not only to fulfill your dreams, but to do so in a way that is more aligned with who you have become. You don't have to give up. Truly, there is no need, because you possess so many talents, gifts that allow you to shine effortlessly in a way that is natural and undeniable. The card reveals the image of a woman with an incredibly intense gaze, wearing a headdress shaped like the head of a bird, adorned with stunning feathers, as if to say, you have wings that are more than capable of drawing the world's attention. But if you look closely at the top of the feathers, you'll notice that some are singed, curled, slightly burnt. It's the image of Icarus, the one who flew too close to the sun, only to have his wings scorched and fall from the sky. You've been there too. There were moments in your life when you soared, fueled by passion, burning with inspiration and hope, only to be burned, hurt, and brought crashing down. And yet, the cards are not merely focused on that fall. What they are emphasizing is this: you still have your wings. And as long as your wings remain, you absolutely can fly again, this time with the wisdom, the experience, and the steadiness that come only from having lived through both the heights and the descent. This time, you are better prepared to reach a success that is more grounded, more enduring, more deeply rooted in who you truly are. More than that, your strength lies not only in what you have lived through yourself, but in your ability to learn from the experiences of others, those who also once flew too close to the sun, those who too have known what it means to be burned and to fall. You observe them, and from their stories, you draw out your own lessons. And this gives you an edge, a quiet yet powerful advantage. You are someone with more opportunities than most, because you do not let any lesson slip away, whether it comes from your own path or from someone else's. You absorb it all. You grow from it all. And that makes your journey not only resilient, but rich with potential waiting to be reawakened. Truly, the energy radiating from the cards today carries an unmistakably clear message. The guiding spirits, the symbolic archetypes woven into the reading, are holding high hopes for you. It is as if they are watching with quiet anticipation, believing that you will rise once more, this time with wings that are stronger, more resilient, and guided by a clarity far greater than before. And it seems that today, there is also the presence of someone with a deeply special connection to you, a presence that is both subtle and profound, yet unmistakably here. This spirit has not come to push you, to urge you forward, or to tell you what to do. Instead, they arrive gently, carrying an emotion that is pure, warm, and full of love. It feels as though they are simply whispering to your soul, "You are such a wonderful child. You are someone I am deeply proud of. So gentle, so gifted. You are truly our pride." These words are not merely meant to comfort. They are meant to remind you of the deep, enduring bond that stretches beyond time and space. The feeling suggests that this may be an ancestor, not someone close to you in your current lifetime, not a familiar face from recent memory, but rather a soul from long ago in your ancestral line. A spirit who rarely makes their presence known, yet today, for reasons beyond the tangible, has chosen to step forward to offer you this message. Their presence is quiet but powerful, like the hush of wind through ancient trees, sacred, knowing, and full of reverence for your path. And their message, though simple, carries the weight of generations. You are seen, you are cherished, and you carry within you not just your own story, but the hopes, wisdom, and love of those who came before you. They believe in your flight. They believe in your light. And today, they are with you, holding space for your next rise. When reflecting on this, we can also begin to understand the deeper meaning behind the card depicting the wolf pack, a powerful symbol of community, of belonging, of shared spirit and collective strength. If at this moment you are feeling isolated, burdened by the sense that no one truly understands you, this card emerges to gently remind you, you are not alone. You are part of a greater collective, a soul family that extends beyond this present life, rooted in connections that span generations, lifetimes, and realms beyond the physical. It's possible that the ancestor who came through today did so precisely to deliver this message. Asterisk, you are part of the pack. We are still watching over you. Asterisk, this is not merely a poetic image. It is a spiritual truth that speaks directly to the part of you that longs for home, for recognition, for a place to rest within the arms of something larger than yourself. And the message is clear, you belong. Even in your solitude, you are held. Even in your silence, you are heard.
Because souls do not cease to exist.
When they leave the physical body, they do not vanish, do not dissolve into nothingness. They become freer, lighter, unbound. They are able to move through realms, to connect across distances both seen and unseen, and to communicate in ways that go far beyond words. And today, one such soul has chosen to come to you. Not as a ghost, not as a distant echo, but as a vibrant, living presence, a guide, a witness, a guardian of your spirit. This encounter is a quiet but profound reassurance. The threads that bind you to your lineage, to your spiritual family, and to the greater cosmic web have never been broken. You are still surrounded, still supported, still remembered. And as you walk your path, no matter how lonely it may sometimes feel, you walk not only for yourself, but for all those who have come before you, and all those who will come after. You are seen. You are cherished. You are never walking alone. So if right now you are feeling tired, if you're moving through moments of self-doubt, please know that there are many gentle, compassionate eyes watching over you. They are not watching with pressure or expectation, not waiting for you to achieve something specific. Rather, they are quietly sending you waves of encouragement, a silent yet powerful message. You can do this. Truly you can. It is not the kind of expectation that weighs heavily on your shoulders. It is a message born of deep trust and unconditional love. A soft whisper from the spiritual realm reminding you that you are not alone on this journey. You have never been. And the truth is, yes, you absolutely can do it. You genuinely have the capacity to move through this, to create, to heal, to grow. Everything is okay. You are okay. It's just that right now, perhaps your spirit is a little weary, especially on an emotional level. And if you can gently allow yourself to refresh your inner world, even just a little, a subtle reset for your heart and mind, then things will begin to realign. Your sense of balance will return, not in a forced or rushed way, but through softness, through clarity. And from that place, you'll find yourself more able to navigate the space between what you have to do and what you long to do. Not in conflict, but in harmony. You'll begin to find ways to tend to your responsibilities without losing sight of your desires. To show up for the world without forgetting how to show up for yourself. And in that renewed state, you will remember, your light has never gone out. It's just been waiting for you to pause, to breathe, to believe again. So first, right now, in this very moment, if you can try to gently refresh your emotional state, even just a little. What matters most is that you hold close to your heart this truth. You absolutely have the power to turn your dreams into reality. There is no need to rush. You are the kind of person who will, without a doubt, succeed. Because of that, there is no need to pressure yourself to keep up with anyone else, or to chase after anything that doesn't resonate with your pace or your truth. All that matters is that you don't forget. You are capable. Deeply, profoundly capable. And if what you need right now is rest, if you're in a chapter where all your soul wants is to pause and breathe, then that is perfectly okay. Let yourself rest. Allow yourself the grace to stop until one day, without force or obligation, something inside you quietly says, yes, I'm ready now. And when that moment comes, you will rise naturally, with ease and clarity, not because someone told you to, but because your inner being is calling you forward again. It's possible that in your surroundings, there are people who keep telling you what you should do, how you ought to be, voices that stir pressure, comparison, or fatigue. But you don't need to fight them. You don't need to argue or prove anything. Instead, you can gently draw a boundary, subtle but sacred, a quiet set of rules created just for yourself, within your own mind. A soft fence that shields you from overwhelm, that helps you preserve your inner calm. These private, tender rules aren't about shutting the world out. They're about choosing how and when you let it in. About creating a safe space within, where your spirit can breathe and your truth can stay intact. And through that space, through that care, your strength will gather again, slowly and surely.
You are not behind.
You are not lost. You are simply taking the time that you, in your wisdom, know you need. And that, too, is part of the journey forward. Trust that you know what you need. You know the rhythm that's right for you. And everything is still unfolding in its own perfect timing. Perhaps in the past, someone once spoke to you as though certain things were simply unquestionable truths, as though they were the natural order of the world. You were told you had to study hard, you had to behave a certain way, you must do this, you must never do that. Some things were labeled as right, others as wrong, all delivered in the form of teachings that sounded more like unbreakable laws than guidance. And because those words were spoken with such certainty, such authority, you may have unconsciously taken them in, absorbing them like universal truths and carrying them with you without even realizing. But the message here is this: don't be too quick to accept everything in its entirety. Instead, try placing those old beliefs side by side with your own internal rules. Gently compare them. Ask yourself, is this truly right for me? What do I actually feel about this? When you allow yourself to entertain the possibility that your perspective might be different, and that it's perfectly okay to feel that way, you begin to ease a weight within you. You release yourself from the invisible chains of should and must, and begin to return to your own truth, your own knowing. In that quiet act of questioning, not from rebellion but from self-honoring, you make space. Space to breathe, to be, to define your own path without guilt or fear. You begin to reclaim authority over your own life, and with it, the gentle power of discernment. You're not rejecting the world. You're simply choosing what truly resonates and letting go of what doesn't. And in doing so, you start to live more freely, more lightly, more fully as the person you truly are. Even if 10 people all stand before you and tell you that you are wrong, if deep within the inner kingdom of your heart you feel that you are not, that sense, that truth is valid. Because this is your life. This is your personal realm, your sacred territory. Try to imagine that you are living in a nation of your own creation, and you have the sovereign right to write the laws that govern it. And why am I able to speak these words to you with such unwavering faith? Because I know your heart. I know it carries a depth of gentleness that is not easily swayed. If someone else were to hear these words and misunderstand them, thinking, oh, so I can just live selfishly, do whatever I want, and ignore everything else, perhaps you'd worry that such an interpretation would be reckless or dangerous. But you are not that kind of person. Even in a world without rules laid out for you, I trust completely that you would never act in ways that intentionally harm others, or live without thought or care. Because within you lives a profound current of love, a quiet but steady desire to bring warmth, to support, to uplift those around you. You move with emotional intelligence, with empathy, with an unspoken commitment to kindness. Yes, you experience difficult emotions, anger, envy, frustration, but you do not let them take the wheel. You don't allow them to guide your words or your actions. You feel them, but you hold them with awareness, and more importantly, you take care not to let them spill onto others. That is a quiet strength. That is self-mastery. And it is exactly why you are the rightful guardian of your own rules, your own values, your own truth. Because your compass is not built on impulse, it is built on heart. So you have every right to live according to your own inner laws, because you are someone mature enough, and with a soul beautiful enough, to know how to live responsibly and compassionately, even when no one is watching or enforcing anything upon you. Because within you, there has always been something you genuinely long to do, a quiet wish, born from deep within. And so, the message here is this: why not take some time to sit with yourself and gently rearrange the personal laws in your heart? Let yourself see them clearly, acknowledge them, and give yourself permission to affirm and accept them as your own. As I've shared before, there are so many guiding spirits, energies who stand beside you, continuously offering their quiet strength and encouragement. Even if, in this physical world, it may feel like no one truly understands or stands with you, that does not mean you are wrong. The absence of visible support does not negate the presence of unseen allies. If we were to use a metaphor, you are not in a situation where 10 are against 1. It's more like 1 appears to be facing 10, but on your side, behind the veil, there are 1,000 unseen presences standing with you. You may not be able to see them with your physical eyes, but that doesn't mean they're not there. You are never truly alone. You've already tried so hard. You've carried so much. Now is the time to let your heart soften, even just a little. It's time to stop denying yourself, to stop pushing away the things your soul has quietly yearned for. Let yourself breathe. Let yourself remember what you want. And let that be enough for now. Because you are enough. Because your inner truth matters. Because your path is still unfolding, and it's entirely, beautifully yours. If you've ever found yourself wondering, am I doing something pointless? Or is this wrong of me? The answer is no, not at all. You are someone who has the remarkable ability to learn from failure. And more than that, you hold within you the capacity to create success. Try to find something, no matter how simple, that brings you a sense of healing, relaxation, and ease, and gently weave it into your daily life. When you allow yourself to recharge, something beautiful happens. Your inner strength and motivation begin to rise naturally, without force. And with that, I'll gently close the reading for those of you who chose pile 2 here. If you resonated with the messages shared today, please don't forget to hit like and subscribe to support this channel. Your encouragement is a powerful source of energy that helps me continue bringing you deeper, more meaningful readings. If anything from today's message touched your heart, I would love to hear from you, whether it's through a comment or simply a small symbol to let me know that the words found their way to you. I truly value every thought, every emotion shared, and I'm always looking forward to hearing what's on your mind. Thank you so much for staying with me until the end of this video. I'll see you again in the next reading. Until then, take care of your beautiful heart. Hello to everyone who chose pile 3. Thank you for your patience. Now, let's begin the reading for those of you who are drawn to this pile. I hope this reading brings you healing, fresh insights, and moments filled with love and tenderness. Today, I didn't set a specific question or theme. I simply asked, is there a message that the cards want to deliver to you directly? And this is what came through. The cards are saying, Dear one, it's okay to slow down. Truly, it's okay. There's no need to rush. There's nothing wrong with taking your time. You're being reminded that it's perfectly alright to move at your own pace. There's no need to compare the rhythm of your journey with anyone else's. No need to pressure yourself just because someone else seems to be moving faster. The cards are speaking to you with a gentle yet heartfelt clarity, encouraging you to honor your own natural rhythm. What also emerges here is the presence of the goddess Iris, symbol of messages, rainbows, and gentle transitions, and a card representing the lunar cycle, moving from full moon all the way back to new moon. It's a soft but powerful reminder. Even if you cry out, hurry up, come on, faster. The moon will not and cannot be rushed. Its phases unfold in perfect timing, guided by an inner wisdom older than time. And so should yours. Your path, too, is unfolding just as it needs to, all in its own rhythm, all in its own time. There is a powerful and evocative image, a snake shedding its skin. When this process is allowed to unfold naturally, the old skin peels away smoothly and effortlessly, leaving behind fresh, healthy skin. It is a process that occurs with grace and without harm, so long as it is not rushed. But if you grow impatient, if the skin begins to come loose around the head and you try to pull it off forcefully, the tender new layer beneath may be damaged. It could tear. It could become inflamed or infected. Sometimes snakes struggle to shed completely. This is known as an incomplete shed. When this happens, external support may be needed, perhaps a warm bath to soften the old skin, or a gentle hand to help ease it off. But in essence, a successful shedding requires that the snake be allowed to move through the process in its own rhythm, at its own pace. And this is the message being offered to you right now. Trust in your own rhythm. Move at the pace that feels true and right for you. That is the safest way forward. And, in truth, it is also the fastest way to reach genuine transformation. The cards are whispering still. Lately, you've been trying so hard. You've been giving it your all, pushing forward with such courage and perseverance. You've already come a long way. You've likely gone through moments that made your heart race, challenges that filled you with tension, made you nervous, and demanded your full focus and energy, haven't you? You've been incredibly resilient. You've truly given it your all. Along the way, there were things that flowed smoothly too. Perhaps there were moments when you felt, I did it, I managed to keep up with everyone else, or I finally feel like I belong, or I'm getting closer to my goal. You gave your best effort, and maybe you did it all while carrying a sense of anxiety or pressure. But I believe you did so well. Truly, you did the best you could with what you had. That being said, I also sense that maybe, just maybe, you've been pushing yourself a little too hard. Perhaps you've been moving faster than your natural pace. Maybe you're tired now. It could be that you're taking a pause at this very moment. I have a feeling many of you are in this in-between space, a moment where you've just sprinted as fast as you could, and now you need to stop and catch your breath. But you know what? That doesn't mean you're moving backwards. It doesn't mean you've returned to square one. The fact that you gave it your all, ran with everything you had in you, all the way up to this point, that in itself is real progress. Every step you took, every action you completed during that time, it all counts. Nothing you did has disappeared or been undone. None of your efforts have been erased. What you poured your heart into, what you gave of yourself, none of it is lost. You don't need to feel disappointed in yourself. You don't need to blame yourself. This is not a case of I failed again. Not at all. The time you spent fighting, striving, holding on with all your strength, that is deeply meaningful. It's a powerful testament to your resilience. You've done so well. Truly. I can feel it. So much, so that I keep getting goosebumps just sitting here with this energy. Because your effort, your devotion, it's reaching straight into my heart. That's what's making the goosebumps rise again and again. You might be thinking your effort wasn't that significant, that it was too small, too ordinary. Maybe someone around you even made you feel that way once. But it's not true. Not even close. You might be thinking that what you've done amounts to just small efforts, that the challenges you've overcome weren't anything remarkable, that you were merely doing what anyone else would do. But the cards are speaking clearly to you now. The pace and path of each person's growth are entirely unique, and no one has the right to judge that. This is one of the most unmistakable messages being communicated in this reading. No one has the right to interfere with or pass judgment on your journey. Why am I so certain about this? Because in this reading, there are images of overwhelming brightness, light that dazzles, even blinds. It suggests that there may be someone in your surroundings right now whose light is so strong, so radiant, that it leaves you feeling dazzled or overshadowed. One card carries the imagery of golden brilliance, and another features gemstones, both symbols of shine, brilliance, and prominence. And yet, both of these cards appeared in reversed positions. This reversal tells us something important, that you might be standing close to someone whose nature is vastly different from yours. Someone whose energy is almost the opposite of yours. Perhaps it's a person who is helping you in some way, or someone who has a strong influence on your current environment. And while their presence may be significant, the cards are reminding you gently that your own light doesn't need to match theirs to be valid. You are not here to compete. You are here to grow in your own way, at your own rhythm. And what matters most is that you are not like them. Other cards in this reading, such as the imagery of frost, or those painted in soft blue tones, speak volumes through their emotional symbolism. These are cards from the realm of feeling and intuition. They express a current that is delicate, subtle, but deeply profound. The consistent hues of blue across these cards hint at a quiet harmony between them, and from this, I can clearly feel one thing. You are someone incredibly sensitive and deeply attuned. Your sensitivity does not mean you are weak. Not at all. Being sensitive and being strong are not opposites. In truth, you possess a powerful intuition. You are someone who picks up on emotions and nuances effortlessly through a glance, a change in tone, a shift in energy. You can feel others' inner landscapes even when nothing is said. Because of this, you often find yourself stepping into another person's shoes, seeing through their eyes, feeling with their heart. Your capacity for empathy runs deep, and so it's natural that your emotional world is often influenced by the emotional climates around you. At times, this can become overwhelming. There may be moments when you find yourself swept up in someone else's inner storm, to the point where it becomes difficult to tell where your feelings end and theirs begin. I also sense that you are someone who is incredibly earnest, deeply conscientious. It feels as though within you, there still exists a set of inner frameworks, standards, and expectations that quietly whisper, I must be this way, or I mustn't do that, or I have to live up to what is expected of me. These internal rules have likely been with you for a long time, perhaps because you've always tried your best to do things right, to avoid mistakes, to never let anyone down. And it is this very earnestness, this sincere sense of responsibility, that can sometimes make you more vulnerable, especially in moments when you feel like you haven't done enough or haven't measured up, even though in truth, you have already done beautifully. You truly have. But this time, the cards are delivering a message that rings loud and clear from the perspective of higher realms, those vibrational planes where spirit moves freely. Each soul is a completely distinct and unique being. No two souls are the same. And because of that, personality, self-expression, pace of growth, everything is naturally different from one soul to another. Trying to fit everyone into the same mold, whether it's social norms, company regulations, family expectations, school rules, or what we call common sense and universal truths, that very act of forcing uniformity is what becomes constricting and even dangerous. It comes from the ego's need to control, from the impositions of the human self. Now, that's not to say that all structure is unnecessary. There are certainly times when rules are important, when they help maintain order, balance, and stability. But if someone begins to judge you as right or wrong purely based on whether you're aligning with your own inner rhythm, that judgment is fundamentally flawed. Living in your own timing, moving in a way that feels natural and sustainable for you, that is absolutely not a fault. If someone insists that it is, if they criticize you for it, then that perspective, truly, is still quite shallow. You are someone who understands the emotions of others with remarkable depth. This has already been clearly affirmed. But right now, it's possible that someone around you carries an energy that is overwhelmingly intense. They are like a blazing sun, radiant, assertively positive, and relentlessly focused on strength and success. You might think of them as a hyper-positive person. They may genuinely be trying to connect with you, to understand you in the way they know how. But to be completely honest, they're not yet able to truly comprehend the depth of who you are. There is a noticeable gap between you and this person in how you each experience and interpret the world. And it's precisely this difference that creates a kind of dissonance. It's possible that you've been hurt by their words, not because they meant to harm, but because you took them to heart. You may have believed that you needed to be more like them. You may have tried to push yourself toward their standard of brightness, of vitality, of outward success. And in doing so, standing beneath that overpowering light, you may have felt the urge to pull away. That brightness may have left you feeling exposed, as though you were disappearing into its shadow. Perhaps you started to feel small, insignificant, or not enough in comparison to their brilliance. Maybe you've even felt disappointment toward yourself, questioning your own value because you couldn't match that energy, because you couldn't shine in the same way. But the truth is, you were never meant to shine like them. You were meant to shine like you. But you don't need to feel sad. You don't need to cry. There's nothing wrong with you, truly, there is absolutely nothing wrong at all. Because we are now living in an era where diversity and difference are being more and more embraced. The world is learning to honor each individual's unique rhythm, their own colors and expressions. And you, with your own natural tempo and essence, are entirely worthy of being cherished and loved, exactly as you are. Yes, this is the time when diversity is no longer limited to just gender or hair color. It's expanding into the realm of how people live, how they choose to move through life. In today's world, graduating from a prestigious university or becoming a civil servant no longer dictates the entirety of one's fate or worth. Society is evolving beyond that old way of thinking. In other words, when you encounter a wall, when things don't go your way, or when you face situations where you had hoped to succeed but didn't quite make it, the question is no longer simply, did you overcome it? What truly matters now is, how did you respond? How did you shift course? How flexible were you in adjusting your path? This, your ability to navigate, to adapt, to pivot with grace, is the true strength that is being honored in the world we live in today. We are living in the age of the air element, a time of freedom, fluidity, and rapid adaptation to changing circumstances. This is no longer the era of rigid persistence, climbing step by step in a straight line. Instead, it's the age of discovering alternate paths, of taking detours, shortcuts, or even digging beneath the wall itself if that's what it takes. No one should say, I couldn't climb over this wall, so that means I failed. There's no such thing. Difficulties and obstacles, these walls, are bound to appear, no matter what stage of life you're in. Even when you believe you've nearly reached the end of your journey, new challenges can still arise, seemingly out of nowhere. And when you're standing in front of one of these barriers, what truly matters is your ability to maneuver, to shift direction with intelligence and intuition. You might need to step back, take a longer route, or try something entirely different. You may find yourself asking, so what should I do now? Which option should I choose next? And those questions in themselves are not problems, they are doorways. They are opportunities to refine and strengthen a vital skill for this era: the ability to adapt, to create, and to remain flexible. This is the wisdom being called forth from within you now. Therefore, those who still cling to the belief that one must follow a fixed mold, thinking that if they don't, the future will be ruined, that only by doing things in a certain way will everything be okay, are, in truth, individuals who have yet to fully develop their capacity for adaptation and flexibility. In a world that changes every single day, such a perspective is increasingly outdated and out of sync with the times. The truth is, many people nowadays have started to learn and gain deeper awareness about these matters. In society, there are many individuals engaged in roles that involve support and guidance, from psychological counselors and therapists to doctors working in hospitals. Among them, there are quite a few who give you the unmistakable sense that they have truly learned and deeply understood what it means to connect with others on a profound level. That is something truly heartening to see. Of course, there are still some individuals, even those working in these very professions, who continue to hold onto outdated views. And it can be quite surprising, even jarring, to hear them speak in such a way and wonder, wait, how is it possible that someone could still think like that today? But on the other hand, the number of people who hold open-minded and progressive perspectives is steadily growing. This, in itself, is a positive signal, an indication that society is undergoing a transformation. And dear one, I can very clearly feel that you are blaming yourself, an unmistakable pain and sense of difficulty that runs deep and is almost tangible. But neither I nor the higher energy beings, those resonating at higher vibrational levels, feel, even in the slightest degree, that there is anything wrong with you. Not even 1%. On the contrary, you are truly wonderful. Someone with such a profound ability to empathize like you, though it can sometimes leave you emotionally drained, is undeniably a person with an incredibly gentle and kind heart. You don't even put up a barrier between yourself and those you don't particularly like. You have the ability to momentarily set aside your personal emotions and genuinely ask yourself, could there be some truth in what this person is saying? You possess wisdom and an openness of mind that make you truly exceptional. This level of self-awareness, this willingness to look beyond personal preference or emotional reaction, is not something everyone has, and it's one of the things that make you stand out in the most subtle yet powerful way. So, there is no need for you to rush. If, at this moment, you feel the need to rest, then rest. Genuinely, wholeheartedly allow yourself to rest. And when you return, it doesn't mean you must immediately start climbing walls again the way you used to. Perhaps this is the perfect moment for you to begin shifting that old mindset a little, the idea that rest must always serve as preparation for the next battle, that we only pause in order to gather strength for the next climb. You don't need to brace yourself like that anymore. Try to consider the possibility that rest is not just an interlude, but a part of life's flow itself. And maybe, just maybe, from within that quiet current, you'll begin to discover a path that feels softer, more natural, and more aligned with your own rhythm. That wall, if you still feel a desire to overcome it, then it's perfectly okay to try again, however many times it takes. There's no shame in that. But if it's reached a point where you no longer even want to look at it, if you're feeling utterly fed up with it, then maybe it's time to consider whether there might be another way, perhaps a way to go around it instead. Some might not like hearing it put this way, but finding an alternative path, a detour, or even an exit, that is not something to be ashamed of at all. Choosing not to confront a wall head-on doesn't mean you're any less capable, or that you've failed. On the contrary, if someone looks at that and sees weakness, then perhaps that person is not someone you need to stay connected to long-term, and that in itself could actually be a blessing in disguise. You might be carrying within you the desire to become a version of yourself that you can feel proud of, an image that no one can look down on. Maybe you want to be someone who is always composed, always doing the right thing, someone who never invites ridicule or judgment from others. That feeling is deeply human. But if you constantly push yourself to maintain that image, to uphold those expectations, then someday, you might look back and feel a pang of regret, wishing you hadn't tried so hard to hold on to a connection that didn't truly nourish you. That's why it's important to begin little by little, to tune in to what genuinely brings you ease, what makes you feel at peace. That connection, with ease, with comfort, with your own sense of truth, is far more valuable than any validation that comes from striving to meet someone else's standards. You are completely allowed to move at your own pace. The message from the cards makes that very clear. There is no need to rush, no need to force anything. When you begin to sort through all these feelings within yourself, try writing them down. Write down everything, what you truly want, the vision of the future you dream of, the things that make you feel at ease. Bringing clarity to the chaos swirling in your mind will help you express your emotions and thoughts more clearly. And from that clarity, when you encounter people who don't quite understand your nature, your pace, or the way you think, you'll be better equipped to explain it to them in a way they can grasp. You possess a sharp intelligence and a remarkable gift for articulation. But more than just a keen mind, you carry a profoundly sensitive heart, a heart that is easily touched, one that feels pain deeply when sorrow, disappointment, or self-rejection arise. And perhaps right now, you are also carrying a sense of urgency, a pressing feeling that you must act immediately, that something within you needs to change quickly. It's as though there's a part of you trying to catch up with something invisible, something undefined, but fast-moving. And yet, it's precisely in those moments when you feel hurried that it becomes most important to pause, breathe, and return to your own rhythm. Because the truth is, your natural pace, gentle, thoughtful, deeply attuned, is not a weakness. It is your strength, and it is what allows you to walk your path with authenticity and grace. But there is no need for you to rush. There's no need to change everything right this moment. Even now, exactly as you are in this very state, you are already a wonderful human being. I can feel that very clearly. What does it mean to be wonderful, really? Is it about social status? Is it about making a lot of money? Does it mean you have to be constantly surrounded by people or adored by everyone in order to be considered wonderful? The word wonderful can be elusive, difficult to pin down. But I can genuinely feel that your soul is incredibly pure and beautiful. It's a quiet, radiant beauty, one that doesn't need to perform, one that simply is. And your future. It is so bright. Truly, dazzlingly bright. I can feel that you're in the midst of an incredibly difficult period. In fact, just saying these words aloud, I feel a tightness in my own chest. Because I can sense how much you've been trying, how deeply you've been holding on, how much effort you've poured into just continuing forward. And knowing that, my heart aches along with yours. But when it comes to your future, I honestly have no worries. I truly believe, with all of my being, that your path ahead is going to be radiant. That light you carry within you, even if it feels dim right now, has never gone out. And it's going to shine more brilliantly than you ever imagined. So you don't need to think that just because you can't act right now, or feel like you're not capable or feel stuck, that there's something wrong with you. Not at all. What I truly want you to believe is that precisely this, is something beautiful. Every person has their own unique rhythm in life. And on the other hand, even those who seem constantly radiant, or those who appear extremely negative, people you might admire in certain ways, they too have gone through intensely painful phases in the process of their own transformation. They too have experienced times when they felt like the waning moon, diminished, shadowed, and lost in darkness. Moments where not a single ray of light could be found. There is no one, absolutely no one, who has not walked through such darkness. But because each person is an entire world unto themselves, it is genuinely difficult for everyone to fully understand or deeply empathize with one another. And yet, you are someone who possesses an extraordinary capacity for imagination and empathy. You imagine and you try to understand what others are feeling. That, in itself, is a rare gift. Of course, there are people who aren't very good at that, really there are. And I'm sure that around you, there are quite a few such individuals. People who don't see or feel the way you do, who perhaps cannot comprehend the depth of what you experience inside. But that doesn't diminish the value of your way of being. In fact, it only highlights how profoundly special your presence truly is. It's okay. You've already given it your all. Truly, you've tried so hard. You are deeply deserving of care and appreciation. In every way, you are worthy. So please rest now. Let yourself rest, fully and sincerely. And it's not just you. Many others also drew the card of abundance today. Yes, for you too, the card of abundance has arrived. If you continue walking steadily, gently, in tune with your own natural rhythm, that abundance will surely come to you. This is the card of prosperity. And the wealth it speaks of is not limited to material wealth. It also includes the richness of friendships, romantic love, meaningful connections, personal interests, passionate pursuits, and yes, money too, in its tangible form. Everything that brings you a sense of fullness, of thriving. Those things will gradually find their way to you. Right now, I sense that you might be blaming yourself for something. There's a current of self-criticism moving through your heart. But in the future, you will most certainly have encounters with people who truly understand and resonate with you. That message came through very clearly in the reading today. There are connections ahead that will feel safe, warm, and affirming. So trust that, step by step, as you keep moving forward with kindness toward yourself, the life you long for is already beginning to take shape. As I channel these messages from the cards, I can also feel your emotions very vividly. Perhaps you're thinking, I haven't really tried at all. But truly, honestly, you've been trying so very hard. And that effort, that perseverance, is undeniable. It's real, and it's powerful. Each person has their own pace. And those who can't understand that, it's simply because they haven't lived enough, haven't grown enough yet to truly feel it. They haven't reached the depth of experience needed to appreciate that kind of inner journey. The Dear card also appeared in your reading, and it brings with it a quiet but firm message. Being silent doesn't automatically mean being gentle or kind. In other words, if you find yourself thinking that you're being a burden to others, or that you're not doing enough, or that you owe something you can't quite repay, then expressing yourself, even just a little, becomes incredibly important. Whether or not someone is able to help you, sharing what you're feeling and what you're thinking, what you're going through, that act alone holds great meaning. It can be something as simple as saying, I feel like if I go about it this way, I might be able to keep moving forward. That's already a step forward. It's not always about climbing over the wall in front of you. It might just be about finding a path that better suits your pace, your rhythm, your truth. Even just a little at a time is perfectly okay. There's no need to rush, no need to worry, or to pressure yourself with questions like, what should I do now? Truly, just one small step, followed by another, is more than enough. Because the Dear card is the embodiment of slow, steady, deliberate progress. It speaks of moving forward gently, but firmly, one foot at a time. Even when I look into your current state, even in this very moment, I can still clearly see that the future stretching out before you is one filled with light. It is not dark, not heavy, not closed off. On the contrary, it's radiant and wide open. There's a spaciousness waiting for you, a brightness gently calling you forward. And it is precisely because you are you, so attuned, so sensitive, so deeply perceptive, that you can do things others cannot. That's something the cards are emphasizing strongly. You are a unique soul, and because of that, you're able to see what others often overlook. You can feel emotions that others have never even begun to understand. You're not just walking the world, you're feeling it with every step. So, if there's anything in today's reading that resonated with you, even the smallest part, anything that felt like it spoke to something inside you, then I gently hope you can let it in.
Just a little is enough.
Truly, even the tiniest moment of connection, of recognition, is already something so precious. It's truly okay. There is nothing wrong with you, and you don't have to change just to fit into someone else's idea of who you should be. Simply being who you are, as you are right now, is already enough. So then, this wall that stands before you, do you have to climb over it? Not necessarily. Ask yourself, is there a way to go around it? Could you dig beneath it? Or maybe, is there a ladder somewhere that could help you over? Who knows, perhaps there's even a helicopter waiting to lift you up and carry you across with ease. When you slowly begin to widen your perspective, to explore different ways of approaching this wall, and then begin to articulate your experience, putting it into words, those around you will gradually begin to understand you more deeply. They'll start to learn how to walk beside you more gently, with more patience and warmth. And from what I can sense, that's something your heart is truly yearning for. That brings this reading for those of you who chose pile 3 to a close. If anything I shared here brought you clarity, offered you some guidance, or simply resonated with you in some small way, please consider subscribing to the channel and giving this video a like to support my work. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch until the end of the video. I wish you a peaceful and lucky day. I look forward to seeing you again in the next readings.